how to properly save files for our photography class in Photoshop. So whenever you are starting a project, the first thing that you should always do, whether it's starting a new file like you see here or working on an existing one that you've opened up, the first thing you're going to want to do is save. We want to get you in the habit of incrementally saving and saving often. That way, in case the computer crashes, you can go ahead and always go back and not have to start back from the beginning. So what do? In order to save, you can do a file, save as, keyboard shortcut, Shift Control S. If you're just doing a quick save, it's just Control S. But for the first time, we're going to do a save as. And what you're going to want to do is navigate to your student folder. So you're going to want to go to the V drive, find your teacher's name, go into the period that we have you. And for my students, I've made student folders. If you have a different teacher, that teacher will tell you where to save. But for my class, everything is going to get saved in your student folder. So right now, you'll notice that we just have a pinhole folder. We'll have more folders going on later on once we get into new projects. So you'll go into the specific folder that we're working on or that project that we're working on, and your naming convention is going to be last name underscore first name underscore whatever the name of the project is. So project name, and then you can hit save. Now, the other thing I want you to pay attention to is the file type. Notice that the file type is going to be a Photoshop document. Okay? So, let me show you what different files look like. So this icon right here indicates that this is an Adobe Photoshop file versus this image, which is just a JPEG or a typical picture file. So it's important that you know the difference, because Photoshop files, you can go back into Photoshop and work on it. Picture files, you can only open the file back into Photoshop and work on it. And I know that may sound a little confusing right now, but for time's sake, we'll dive into that later. But you just need to know the difference between these icons and know what the difference is. So go ahead and in your new document that you have open, if you didn't make a new one, do a new one, and just do a file, save as, save it into your student folder. You can call it last name underscore first name underscore practice. And you don't have to save it in a specific folder right now. We'll actually probably just delete this later on. It's just going to be for practice right now. So that's where to save, the naming convention, and again, to reiterate, save often.